This is so beautiful.
Yes, it is.
So beautiful.
But not nearly as beautiful as you.
Principal Delane, when did you become such a charmer?
I don't know. Sometime after I met God's most wonderful creation, walking the halls of Allen University.
Well, welcome back to Soda City Live, everyone. A movie honoring the Clarendon County natives who led the way into desegregating schools across the nation in 1954 will be shown this Saturday at the South Carolina Education Association headquarters in West Columbia. Joining me today are the brains behind the film, From Segregation to Justice. The director and producer, Zebulon Dinkins, actress Melody Williams, and actor Jalen Robinson. Thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thanks for having us.
So I already am tapped in about this movie. I'm from Clarendon County. I'm very familiar that Briggs versus Elliott was one of 5 cases to make up the Brown versus Board of Education. Little history lesson for the viewers there. And that is how schools became desegregated and blacks and whites were able to attend classes together.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit more about your background and your inspiration behind producing this movie.
Well, as a former educator, I was one of the first graduates of the Call Me Mr. program. And this film is a collaboration between them, myself, the Briggs Delane Pearson Foundation, and also the Cecil Williams Civil Rights Museum in Orangeburg, South Carolina. So when I first heard about this film and what they were trying to do, because I'm a former educator, I really was passionate about it. I knew about Briggs versus Elliott, I knew about Brown versus Board, but I really didn't know the entire story. And even as an educator, it drew me in to say I have to make this film and I have to show the world in South Carolina that these hidden figures of J. and Mary Delane are one of the 2 hidden figures that everyone in South Carolina, even if you're not even in education, should know about.
You should know about it, and that is why schools are the way they are today. Even school buses, even getting rights for transportation. Melody, tell us about your role in the movie and who you portray.
Yes, well, I portray First Lady Maddie Delane. She's the wife of J.A. Delane, and essentially, I support my husband in everything that he's doing. There are a ton of events, and it just me as a South Carolina native as well. I'm from the Low Country. I grew up on old slave plantations and spending time in those places and things like that. I had no idea about this. I knew about the Charleston area, but I didn't know about these other historic events that happen in the state. So I'm glad Zeb asked me to be a part of it.
That's amazing. And then Jalen, tell us a little bit about your background and what you do in the movie.
I play Reverdy Wells, who is a student at Scotts Branch during that time, and he kind of helped rally up the parents and other students and everything, and shine light on what was going on in the schools, and it kind of helped lead to the case and the desegregation in the schools and everything. And because of his actions and his passion for bringing about change, when it came time for him to graduate and go off to college, his transcript and grades were messed with and like falsified, and he wasn't able to attend college because of that.
Jalen, how old are you?
24. I just turned 24.
You just turned 24, and you're from South Carolina.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you grow up knowing about this story?
I did not, which is why I'm very thankful to Zeb and everyone for allowing me to be a part and also like learn in the process, because I love the civil rights movement and the leaders and activists that brought about change. It's just crazy that South Carolina had, those same heroes and activists.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm glad that you brought up Mr. Cecil Williams. I just interviewed him over the weekend about his Civil Rights Museum. If you guys are not familiar with that, it is South Carolina's first and only Civil Rights Museum, and it's located right in Orangeburg. And he has so many pictures and documentations from Briggs versus Elliott. And we talked about how you can be living right here in South Carolina and not know it. Now, I think I'm a little different because I grew up in Manning and went to church in Somerton, and so some of the Briggs and Delane family members are mine, and we all grew up together, so that's different when you grow up in it. But if you don't, and you don't know this movie is really going to take you there and go through the layers of what it was like during that time to fight for equal rights for Black people.
It sure is, and it's a massive story And I think because it doesn't get the limelight like Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, it's not a simple story, and there were a lot of families involved and a lot of things that went on. And so we tried to give a snapshot of basically around the 1930s all the way up to 1954 when the case was finally decided to desegregate schools in the entire nation. And that's the main key point. South Carolina has heroes right from Clarendon County who changed not just the state, but the nation.
The
Yes.
nation,
The
yes.
nation, yes.
That's a good point. Now, you're going to be showing this movie at an event with the South Carolina Education Association this weekend. Is it open to the public, and how can people attend?
Yes, the South Carolina Education Association has a new headquarters in Lexington, South Carolina. It is open to the public. They just ask that you RSVP online. So that's scea.org/ribbon, I believe. But yes, it will be premiered at 1 o'clock after their ribbon cutting and their event.
Okay, and Zebulon, I'm pretty sure that people are watching and may be interested in how to stay in touch with you. Just to learn more about the history in your film, how can people stay connected with you?
Well, they can go to my website, that is motivationaleducation.com. I'm sorry, motivateeducation.com. They share the E. Or they can just go to IMDb, type in my name, or just Google, and pretty much it'll come up.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for coming on, and thank you for what you're doing to keep history alive and not only educate South Carolina, but the rest of the nation as well. I'm looking forward to seeing the whole film. I was very impressed with what I saw, and we'll make sure to have all the information online. So Jalen, Melody, and Zebulon, thank you so much.